You've probably been there, right? A big new initiative at work gets announced, and then nothing really changes. It just kind of fades away. Well, today we're going to look at a framework called the ADKAR model. It's a really smart, simple way to make sure that doesn't happen.
You know, they say the only constant in business is change, and it's true. Think about it. A new software rollout, a big merger, a total shift in strategy. Companies are always evolving. But here's the thing, making those changes actually work? That's the really tough part.
So why is that? I mean, why do so many of these big, well-intentioned projects just fall flat? It's a question that leaders have been wrestling with for a long, long time.
And this is where the ADKR model comes in. It offers a really interesting solution. It says, hey, the secret to making a big organizational change work is to focus on the change that happens inside each individual. It's a people-first framework, and it breaks the whole process down into these really clear, manageable building blocks.
Okay, so let's break it down. ADKR is an acronym, and it stands for 5 key elements. And what's really important is that they're sequential. They have to happen in order. We've got awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and last but not least, reinforcement.
So, first things first, we start with awareness. This is the absolute foundation of any successful change. And it's not just about telling people what's changing. The really crucial part here is explaining why.
And honestly, the data on this is pretty clear. You want to know the #1 reason people resist a change? It's because they don't get the why. They just don't understand why it's even necessary. And if you can't establish that why, you've lost before you've even started. All right, so let's say you've done that. People are aware. But that's just the first step. Next, you have to build desire. Because, let's face it, just because you understand something doesn't mean you want to do it, right? Desire is all about a personal choice. It's that moment when an individual decides, okay, I'm on board. I'm going to support this. And this is the stage where you have to answer that one critical question everyone is asking, even if it's just in their head. What's in it for me?
So once you've built that awareness and desire, you've got some real momentum going. Now you can move on to the third building block, knowledge. This is where things get practical. It's all about the how-to.
And this usually means things like training sessions and education. It's about giving people the actual information they need to navigate the new world. How to use the new software, what the new process looks like, or what their new role involves.
Now, here is a super common trap that a lot of companies fall into. They jump straight to training, right to the knowledge part, without building that foundation of awareness and desire first. And what happens? The training just doesn't land. People aren't motivated, so they don't really absorb it.
Okay, so now your team knows why the change is happening, and they want to do it. They've even been trained on how, but can they actually pull it off? That's what our fourth block, ability, is all about.
Ability is where the rubber meets the road. It's one thing to know the theory, but it's another thing entirely to actually put those new skills into practice and get the results. This is when the change goes from being just an idea to being a real, observable thing.
All right, we are so close. But all of this great work can completely fall apart if we miss the fifth and final block, reinforcement. You can think of this as the glue that makes the change permanent. See, without reinforcement, it's just human nature to slide back into old, comfortable habits. So this step is all about doing things that encourage the new behaviors and make it more likely that people will keep doing them.
So what does that look like? Well, it can be a lot of things. Public recognition, maybe some tangible rewards or incentives, even something as simple as celebrating the small successes along the way. It's all about keeping that positive momentum going. And this table here does a great job of showing why each one of these steps is so critical and why the order matters. Look, if you miss awareness, people are just confused. If you miss desire, you get resistance. No knowledge? That leads to anxiety. No ability? Frustration. And if you skip reinforcement, well, people just go back to doing things the old way. It's inevitable. So, if there's one big idea to walk away with, it's this. Successful change for a whole organization is built on the foundation of successful change for each individual within it. You just can't have one without the other.
So, I'll leave you with a final thought. The next time you find yourself in the middle of a big change, just take a second. Think about the ADKAR model and ask yourself, which of these building blocks do we need to focus on right now to make sure this actually works?